We've been friends since childhood. I thought we were like brothers, trusted him more than anyone. And then he stole my business. He was sure I would just accept it. But I turned his life into hell. I met Travis when we were both 10 years old, on a sweltering August afternoon in suburban Phoenix. He was the new kid on the block, standing awkwardly in his driveway while his parents unloaded moving boxes. I was riding my bike past his house when he waved, a hesitant smile on his face. That simple gesture turned into 15 years of friendship, or what I thought was friendship. We were inseparable throughout school. Travis was the kind of guy who could charm anyone, teachers, parents, classmates. He had this easy confidence that made people trust him instantly. I admired that about him, how he could walk into a room and immediately own it. Where I was cautious and analytical, he was bold and instinctive. We balanced each other perfectly. After high school, we both got into Arizona State University. It seemed natural to be roommates. Those college years only strengthened our bond, late-night study sessions, covering for each other during rough patches, celebrating our successes together. Travis was there when my dad passed away during sophomore year, helping me keep it together and not drop out. I was there when his girlfriend of 3 years cheated on him, letting him crash on my futon for weeks while he put himself back together. The idea for our business came during senior year. We were hanging out in our apartment, complaining about how expensive it was to fix our phones and laptops. Travis had always been good with electronics, he'd been taking things apart and putting them back together since I'd known him. I'd just inherited some money from my grandmother, and the idea just clicked. Why don't we open our own repair shop? I suggested, watching Travis expertly replace the screen on my phone. You've got the skills, I've got some capital. We could start small, maybe even run it from your garage at first. His eyes lit up. That was Travis, always excited about new possibilities. We stayed up all night planning, scribbling ideas on notebook paper, researching competitors online. By sunrise, we had the bones of a business plan. I invested $50,000 to get us started. It wasn't just money, it was my inheritance, my safety net, my future. But I trusted Travis completely. We found a small storefront in a decent area, bought our initial inventory, and set up shop. Travis handled the technical side while I managed the books and marketing. Within 6 months, we had a steady stream of customers. By the end of the first year, we were turning a profit. The success changed something in Travis, though I didn't see it at first. Looking back, there were signs. He started making decisions without consulting me. Small things at first, ordering extra inventory, giving discounts to certain customers, staying open later than our agreed hours. When I'd bring it up, he'd laugh it off. "Come on, man, you're being too rigid," he'd say. "Business is good. We need to be flexible to grow." I started noticing discrepancies in our books. Nothing major, a few $100s here and there that couldn't be accounted for. When I asked Travis about it, he'd always have an explanation. An emergency repair he forgot to log, a cash payment he hadn't entered yet. I wanted to believe him. After all, this was Travis, my best friend, my brother in everything but blood. Then came the family emergency. My mom needed surgery, nothing life-threatening, but serious enough that I needed to be there for her in Chicago for a few weeks. I hesitated to leave the business, but Travis insisted. "I've got everything under control," he assured me. "Family comes first, right?" That's what we've always said. I should have known something was wrong when he started dodging my calls during the 3rd week. Too busy with customers, he'd text. "Call you later." But later never came. It was Jerry, our main parts supplier, who finally opened my eyes. His email came on a Tuesday morning, just as I was getting ready to head back to Phoenix. "Hey Mike, still haven't heard back about the contract changes," the email read. "Need to know if you're okay with the new terms before we can move forward with the exclusive supplier agreement." My hand started shaking as I read those words. Exclusive supplier agreement. We'd never discussed anything like that. I called Jerry immediately, my heart pounding in my chest. What contract changes are you talking about? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. There was a long pause on the other end. The ones Travis sent over last week. He said you were both on board with making us your exclusive supplier. Said it would help with the expansion. Expansion? The word felt like acid in my mouth. Yeah, for the new locations. Look, Mike, is everything okay? Travis said you were taking some time off to deal with personal stuff and he was handling all the business decisions for now. I ended the call and immediately logged into our business account. Access denied. I tried our inventory management system. Password incorrect. Our cloud storage, our email system, our scheduling software, locked out of everything. With trembling fingers, I pulled up the State Business Registry website and searched for our company name. The results made my blood run cold. Our business had been dissolved 2 weeks ago. In its place was a new entity, same location, same services, but with only one owner, Travis Anderson. I called him immediately. He picked up on the third ring, and I could hear the smirk in his voice. Hey buddy, how's your mom doing? What did you do? My voice was barely a whisper. What I had to do, he replied calmly. Look, Mike, you're a great friend, but let's be honest, this was always my business. I'm the one fixing everything, dealing with customers, putting in the real work. You just provided some startup cash. I built this with you. I was shouting now, not caring that I was in a hospital waiting room. We're partners. We're partners, he corrected. Check the paperwork, Mike. Everything's legal. I made sure of that. You can try to fight it, but you'll just waste whatever money you have left. You really think I'm just going to let this go? He laughed, and it was a sound I'd never heard from him before, cold, dismissive, almost cruel. Actually, yeah, I do. Because that's who you are, Mike. You analyze things to death, you worry about consequences, you play it safe. Me? I take what I want. And right now, I want this business. So thanks for the startup capital, consider it payment for all those times I helped you out over the years. The line went dead. I sat there in the sterile hospital hallway, my world crumbling around me. Everything we'd built together, every sacrifice I'd made, every late night and stressed out weekend, gone. Stolen by the one person I never thought could betray me. But Travis had made one crucial mistake. He thought he knew me, the cautious, analytical friend who always played by the rules. What he didn't realize was that he'd just destroyed any reason I had to keep playing nice. And if there's one thing I'd learned from our years of friendship, it was how to hit someone where it really hurts. I spent the next 3 days in Chicago, but I wasn't just sitting around. I was planning. Every night, after leaving the hospital, I'd sit in my hotel room with my laptop, meticulously documenting everything I could remember about our business. Every client contact, every supplier relationship, every weakness in his operation. I created spreadsheets tracking payment histories, service patterns, and customer complaints. I dug up every email I'd ever saved, every text message, every photo of us working together. By the time I flew back to Phoenix, I had a plan, not just for revenge, but for complete annihilation. The first phase was subtle. I started with our high-end corporate clients, the ones who brought in the steadiest income. I didn't badmouth Travis or make a scene. Instead, I sent carefully worded emails expressing my concern about recent management changes and potential quality issues. I attached documentation showing my role in their past repairs, subtly highlighting the fact that I had personally overseen their most complex cases. I just wanted to make sure you were aware of the situation, I wrote. Your business means a lot to me, and I'd hate to see any disruption in your service quality. The response was better than I'd hoped. These clients weren't just customers, they were relationships I'd built over years. They trusted me, not the company name. Within 2 weeks, 3 major corporate accounts had pulled their contracts. I knew exactly how much this would hurt Travis. These clients represented almost 40% of the monthly revenue. But that was just the beginning. Phase 2 targeted his supply chain. Travis had always been sloppy with payments, preferring to hold on to cash as long as possible. I knew all our suppliers' payment terms and histories. I reached out to each one, expressing concerns about the company's financial stability under the new management. "I'm no longer associated with the business," I told them, "but as someone who worked closely with these accounts, I felt obligated to let you know about some troubling patterns I've noticed." The seeds of doubt were planted. When Travis was late with his next payment, which I knew he would be, our main suppliers tightened their credit terms. Some demanded payment up front. Others simply stopped shipping altogether. While Travis was scrambling to keep his supplies flowing, I executed Phase 3. I'd found a perfect location for a new shop, right across the street from his. The storefront had better visibility and more parking. I took out a business loan using my house as collateral and went all in. But I didn't just open a competing repair shop, I created an experience. I hired away his best technician, James, who'd been frustrated with Travis's management style for months. I invested in a sleek, modern interior design that made Travis's shop look dated in comparison. I installed a coffee bar in the waiting area and set up a system where customers could watch their devices being repaired through a glass partition, transparency in both literal and figurative terms. The coup de grace came when I launched my marketing campaign. I didn't mention Travis or his shop once. Instead, I emphasized trust, transparency, and community. "Locally owned and operated by Phoenix natives" was my tagline, a subtle dig at Travis, who'd moved here from out of state. I offered a community discount that just happened to be a few dollars less than Travis's standard rates. I watched from my shop window as his customer traffic dwindled. People would park their cars, look at both storefronts, and inevitably choose mine. Some were former customers who remembered me. Others were simply drawn to the more professional appearance and competitive prices. Travis tried to fight back, but every move he made played into my hands. When he lowered his prices, I matched them, knowing he had higher overhead due to his rushed supplier agreements. When he extended his hours, I did the same, but I had more staff to rotate through shifts. When he tried to badmouth me to customers, it only made him look unprofessional. The final blow came 4 months after I opened my shop. I'd heard through the grapevine that Travis had been trying to secure a business loan to stay afloat. But banks do their homework. One look at his books, the declining revenue, the supplier problems, the mounting debt, and they all said no. He had burned through my initial investment and had nothing to show for it. I was working late one evening, finishing up some paperwork, when I heard the bell above the door chime. I looked up to see Travis standing there, and for a moment, I barely recognized him. Gone was the confident swagger, the easy smile. He looked tired, defeated. His designer clothes had been replaced by worn jeans and a faded t-shirt. "Hey, Mike," he said quietly, his eyes darting around the shop. I could see him taking it all in, the modern decor, the steady stream of customers even at this late hour, the wall of 5-star reviews behind the counter. "Nice place you've got here." I didn't respond, just watched him fidget uncomfortably in the silence. "Look," he continued, running a hand through his unkempt hair, "I know I messed up. I got greedy, thought I could handle everything on my own. But I was wrong, okay? I admit it. We were always better as a team. Were we?" I asked, my voice neutral. "Or was I just useful to you?" He flinched. "That's not fair. We had good times, didn't we? 15 years of friendship has to count for something." I stood up slowly, walking around my desk to face him directly. "It counted for everything, Travis. That's why what you did was unforgivable. I can make it right, he said quickly, desperately. Look, I still have the business registration. We can transfer it back, be partners again. Or maybe you could hire me. I'm good with repairs, you know that. Some of your customers still remember me. I laughed, but there was no humor in it. You really don't get it, do you? This isn't about the business anymore. This is about trust. You didn't just steal my money, you betrayed every moment we shared, every secret I told you, every time I had your back. You took 15 years of friendship and threw it away for what? A few months of playing boss? I was stupid, he whispered. I see that now. No, I corrected him. You were exactly who you are. I just finally see it clearly. I walked to the door and held it open. The evening air was cool, carrying the scent of desert sage from the landscaping outside. I heard Best Buy is hiring, I said. They've got good benefits. He stood there for a moment longer, shoulders slumped. I thought I saw tears in his eyes, but I couldn't be sure in the dim light. Finally, he walked past me and out the door. I watched him cross the street to his empty shop, fumbling with his keys in the darkness. That night, as I locked up, I thought about karma, about justice, about the price of revenge. I had won, completely and utterly. I had my successful business, my loyal customers, my reputation intact. I had watched my betrayer fall from grace in the most satisfying way possible. But as I drove home through the quiet Phoenix streets, past the familiar landmarks of our shared history, I felt strangely hollow. The satisfaction I'd expected, the sense of triumph, remained elusive. Instead, I found myself thinking about two 10-year-old boys on a hot August afternoon, one on a bike, one waving from a driveway, neither having any idea where their path would lead. I still see Travis sometimes, working behind the counter at the Best Buy in the mall. He doesn't look up when I pass by, and I never stop. We're like strangers now, our shared history erased as completely as if it had never existed. But sometimes, late at night, I wonder if I've really won anything at all. The business is thriving, my revenge is complete, but the cost was higher than either of us could have imagined.